Hello and good morning. How are you doing? Welcome to class number 978. 978, we don't have many classes left. We're going to reach 1,000. It didn't occur to me 5 years ago that I would be reaching class 1,000. But I've done a lot of television in my life, a lot of radio. I've taught a lot of classes. I've given over 50,000 hours of English instruction. So never rule out the possibility. Never rule out. Rule, escrito rule, que es una regla, ¿no? Pero no una regla de medir. Eso es ruler, con R. Ruler. A ruler is, to measure. I haven't used a ruler in 40 years. Do you have a ruler? Do you use it? Yeah. I haven't used a ruler in years. In English, in the English-speaking countries, the ruler is 12 inches. That's a normal standard ruler, 12 pulgadas. 1 foot. Yeah, 12 inches. A ruler. But rule, sin la R, es regla, como política, reglas a seguir. So, rule. As a general rule, como regla general. As a general rule, I prefer to use these books in class. As a general rule, but not always. As a general rule. Now, to rule out is different. To rule out is descartar. Puedes descartar esa posibilidad. You can rule out that possibility. Now, when I started with this program 4.5 years ago, I started with program number 1. This is program number 978. Now, it didn't occur to me that I would reach program 978, but I didn't rule it out. I didn't rule it out. Me conozco. I know myself. Me conozco bacalao. ¿Cómo se dice bacalao, no? Aunque vengas disfrazado. Okay. I didn't rule it out because I know myself. And I know that boom, 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 boom. A la chita cayendo. Bam, look. Now, 1,000 shows. Are you crazy? Sitting in front of these lights and this camera with this lady 1,000 times? Bueno, no hemos llegado a 1,000, eh? All right. 978. Fluency. Gain fluency. Paragraph. ¿Dónde estoy? Paragraph 478 on page 55. From yesterday, I've been to 34 countries in my life. Son 35 ya. Aquí 34. I've been to 34 countries in my life. But I've never been to some really interesting places. Yeah, I've never been to some really interesting places. Places like Australia, Brazil, or Japan. Yeah. Maybe someday, yeah. Maybe someday. Algún día quizás. Maybe someday, but at my age, maybe not. At my age, maybe not. Traveling. It doesn't attract me so much anymore. Well, it never attracted me. I was never obsessed with traveling. I was simply having fun, enjoying life, and traveling through Italy, Greece, Turkey, the United States, Mexico, Peru. It's interesting. Morocco. It's interesting. Yeah. But also staying at home reading a book is equally interesting, sometimes more. All right. But in any case, I've been to 34 countries, but I've never been to some really interesting places. Interesting. 3 sílabas. 4 escritas, 3 pronunciadas. Interesting. Places like Australia, Brazil, or Japan. Maybe someday. But at my age, maybe not. Maybe not. The next one, 479. Don't take what he says seriously. Don't take what he says. No tomes en serio lo que él dice. Don't take what he's... No toma lo que él dice en serio. O seriosamente, como decimos en inglés. Don't take what he says seriously. Serioso. Seriously. Serious. Don't take what he says seriously. He likes to make people uncomfortable. Le gusta incomodar. Yeah. Amedrentar un poco. He likes to make people uncomfortable. He's always making fun of our ideas and proposals. Yeah. But he never offers any ideas himself. Es un fétido que está en el graderío haciendo ruiditos. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry about him. Yeah. Don't take what he says seriously. Yes. Yeah. He likes to make people feel uncomfortable. Le gusta hacer que la gente se sienta incómoda. He likes to make people feel. Make people feel. To feel, no. He likes to make people feel uncomfortable. 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 He likes to make people feel uncomfortable. Yes. He's always making fun. Siempre está burlándose. He's always making fun of our ideas, nuestras ideas y nuestras propuestas. Crear un pueblo de habla inglesa, está loco. He's always making fun of our ideas, my ideas and Marta's. He's always making fun of our ideas. Yeah. A book with 1,000 short paragraphs? That's that's a dumb idea. But don't pay any attention to him, okay? Don't pay any attention to him. Yes. Don't take what he says seriously. He likes to make people feel uncomfortable. He's always making fun of our ideas and proposals, but he never offers any ideas himself. Never. He never offers any ideas himself. He is always making fun. It's interesting. It's interesting in Spanish and in English, because in this case, you can use the present simple or the present continuous. And in Spanish, in English, and also in Spanish, siempre se burla de nuestras ideas y propuestas. Muy bien. Es un hecho que conste, que siempre se burla. Ahora, en el continuo, siempre se está burlando de nuestras ideas y propuestas. Sounds better in this case. It's more active, you see. For example, mi mujer siempre se queja del tiempo. Ok, conste en acta. Ahora, mi mujer siempre se está quejando del tiempo. Eso parece más molesto todavía. All right. So, he's always making fun. He's always, to make fun of. Yes. Some people, well, one company made fun of me. Eso es cierto. A big company in Spain. I'm not going to say the name. But I made a proposal to the company about 10 years ago, and they invited me to speak to the management team, to the management comité de dirección, the management committee. The week before, they said, well, Richard Vaughan is coming next week. In case you don't know him, watch. And so they had prepared un collage of moments of me on television. But the crazy moments, I said, I don't agree. I'm an actor in addition to a teacher. So for me, I will do funny things. I'll put the pencil behind my ear. I'll be trying to do this, to balance a pencil. And so they took every silly moment and made a program to show to the other managers. And so the following week when I came, they were waiting. So this crazy guy. I'm not crazy. I'm very serious. Yeah. But to teach English is boring. Aprender un idioma es aburrido. Es pesado. Yeah, it's a pain in the neck. It's a pain in the ass. It's a pain. So I have to make it attractive. So you find English attractive. That's my job. That's the teacher's job, is to make the subject attractive for the student. And then the learning process changes. The learning process becomes, or acquires, adopts a more positive trajectory. But that's the teacher's job. All right, to be very good. All right. So, let's go on. Don't take what he says seriously. He likes to make people feel uncomfortable. He's always making fun of our ideas and proposals. But he never offers any ideas himself. El mismo nunca ofrece nada. He never offers any ideas himself. All right, the bottom of page 55, paragraph 480. I'm receiving him out of courtesy. No, I was, perdona, le recibía por cortesía, no porque era. It wasn't interesting for me. You see, Marta, about 3 months ago, she said, Corazón de melón, ¿puedes recibir una amiga mía porque le interesa, sabe inglés? And of course, I said, I don't have time. I said, but it's Marta. So I said, of course, tell your friend to come. Okay. And so Marta's friend came, and out of courtesy. So I received her out of courtesy. O sea, la recibí o la recibía, dice aquí, por cortesía. All right. I was receiving him. Bueno, es un chico. I was receiving him. Estaba recibiéndole en el acto, en el preciso momento de recibirle. I was receiving him out of courtesy. So, I told my secretary, Margarita, Juanita, I said, oye, Juanita, entra en media hora y dice que hay una llamada importante. So I told my secretary to interrupt the meeting after 30 minutes to remind me of an appointment. No se olvide, señor Vaughan, de la cita que usted tiene ahora. Okay, it's not true, but it was a way to finish the meeting. However, things turned out very differently. Things turned out very differently. Yeah. So I was receiving him out of courtesy. So I told my secretary to interrupt our meeting after 30 minutes to remind me of an appointment. However, things turned out. Things turned out. Enlacemos. Turned out. Things, las cosas. Yeah. Giraron, las cosas salieron de forma muy diferente. Things turned out muy diferentemente. Things turned out very differently. Yeah, what happened was he proposed an idea, $1 million idea. I said, wow. And so Juanita comes in, Mr. Vaughan, excuse me, you need to remember you have an appointment. Juanita, don't worry, cancel the appointment. Cancel the appointment. Miguel, continue. So it was a surprise. And so Miguel offered me Marta's friend, a very interesting business idea. Yeah. So I was expecting, a ver cómo me deshago de él lo antes posible, pero lo recibo por cortesía. So I was expecting, I needed to find a way to despacharle, to get him out of the office as soon as possible. But out of courtesy for Marta, I said, okay, I'll see Miguel. Okay, fine. And I said, Juanita, listen, after 30 minutes, come in and remind me of an appointment. Es un cita fantasma. It's not true. All right. But Miguel proposed an idea. I said, hey, that's interesting. Yeah. No, Juanita, cancel the appointment. Okay. And I stayed with Miguel for 2 hours. All right. Marta, you have some interesting friends. Okay. Okay, the next page. The next page, page 56. Wow. We haven't reached the middle yet. At the top, of course, 481. I'm having more and more trouble. This is true as well. Todo es verdad aquí. I'm having more and more trouble. I'm having more and more trouble. Estoy teniendo. I'm having more and more, más y más, cada vez más dificultades. Me está costando cada vez más. Es la mejor traducción. I'm having more and more trouble reading books from start to finish. Yeah. I'm having more and more trouble reading books from start to finish, from beginning to end. I'm having more and more trouble. Trouble, sin ese al final. Con ese significa mis cuitas, my troubles. I'm having more and more trouble finishing books. Well, reading books from start to finish. Maybe it's because of the habit nowadays of reading short text messages. Yeah. Maybe it's because of, a lo mejor es debido a, quizás se deba a. Maybe it's because of our habit nowadays, nuestro hábito hoy en día. Our habit nowadays. Se escribe nowadays. Esa A en medio solemos saltarlo. Nowadays. Español decís hoy día o hoy en día. I don't know which one is better. So, maybe it's because of our habit nowadays of reading short text messages. We're losing our attention span. My attention span. I don't know how to say attention span. La capacidad de mantener la atención en una cosa sin distracción. It's attention span. Lifespan is esperanza de vida. Life expectancy, lifespan. Span. Lifespan. Attention span. So for children, it's difficult, the attention span, to keep their attention for a long time. But it is true. Ay, como me pica. It is true that now with Instagram and with Facebook, with Twitter or X, with other, we're chutes rápidos de estímulo, and we're forgetting how to sit down and read 4 chapters in a row, 4 consecutive chapters of a book, and spend 1 hour sitting and reading a book. When I was younger, I could spend 3 hours non-stop reading a book. I could read a book in 1 day. Not, 10 hours maybe. But I'm a slow reader. Yeah. But I read a lot. And so this question of the attention span is a problem for many people now, and for me as well. So this is true. I'm having more and more trouble reading books from start to finish. Maybe it's because of our habit. Maybe it's because of our habit nowadays of reading short messages. We're losing our attention span. We're losing our attention span. All right. How much time, Marta? Okay. My father, the next one, 482, page 56. My father grew up in a small town where his father was the town doctor. When his father had a serious case and needed help, he sent my father running to get the barber to come and help. This is true. My father grew up in a town of 1,000 people. Really, when I was a little boy, we went to the town, Bertram, Texas. Me pico mucho lo que dije. When I was a little boy, we went to the town, Bertram. At that time, the population was 600 people. Now, my father told me that when he was growing up, when he was a boy growing up in the town, he said the most entertaining thing for the men, the most entertaining thing was to go to the barber shop and sit against the wall and watch the barber cutting hair. That was the most entertaining thing. Later, when my father was growing up, they built a movie theater, the Globe, El Globo Teatro. That's the same theater as Shakespeare. Shakespeare's theater company put on their plays in the Globe. Okay. Now, my father's father, my grandfather, was a doctor. I've spoken about him many times. And it was a very small town. So my grandfather he didn't have a second doctor or a nurse or an assistant to help him. He had my father. My father was 8 years old. And he said, Tommy, my father's name is Thomas. He said, Tommy. And sometimes my father helped my grandfather. But if it was a serious case, my grandfather said to my father, Tommy, hurry, get the barber. And my father ran 300 meters maybe to the barber shop. No se dice Antonio, hairdresser. To the barber shop. He said, I don't know his name. Hey, Chuck, my dad needs you. And when that happened, the barber stopped everything in the middle, maybe shaving somebody, in the middle. And the two of them ran back. Because normally when my grandfather needed the barber, it was an emergency. My father told me about one, te lo contaba aquí, no? Where they had to push. My father was only 9 years old. He had to get on one side of the man and the barber on the other and push his head back together. And my grandfather, cosiendo el cuero cabelludo, sewing his head back together. That's very typical of a general doctor, a general practitioner. He did everything. He did everything. And my father went with him. Because in this small town, my grandfather was the doctor for the general area, con muchos granjas. There were a lot of farms. And to go to the farm, driving, in the 1930s, this is the 1930s, during the Great Depression, they come to a fence and a gate. Well, my father had to get out, open the gate. My grandfather passed through. My father had to close the gate and go back into the car to the next gate. Sometimes they went through about 5 or 6 gates in order to reach the house. And in the 1920s, my grandfather went on a horse to the farms in the middle of the night many times because the woman was having a baby in the middle of the night. Yes, in the middle of the night. Yes, I have a runny nose. Yeah, I think I'm okay. I think I can continue. But in any case, there's only a few minutes left, right? How much time do we have left? Just a few minutes. I'll survive. I will survive. So, my father grew up in a small town where his father was the town doctor. El médico del pueblo, the town doctor. When his father had a serious case and needed help, he sent my father running to get the barber to come and help, to get the barber. I can imagine, a man sitting in the barber chair and the barber is shaving him, and my father says, hey, Chuck, my father needs you, and leaving, he'll do it himself. Or one of the men sitting and watching, can do it, a barber. You know, I've never had a shave from a barber. Never. Yeah, my son, when he was little, maybe 2, 3 years old, he was terrified of the barber. And to get him to go to the barber, it was like, it was just bloody murder. We say, asesinato, sangriento, bloody murder. My wife couldn't take him. Finally, I took him. Bam! All right. Yeah. The same thing happened with my daughter. One time my daughter didn't want to go to school. And my wife calls, es que se niega a ir a cole, a bajar. And I said to my wife, dile que voy a estar en 10 minutos, que esté abajo. And I drove the car there, and she was there, diligently waiting for me to go to school. Papá dice que hay que ir. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.